victim in this unsolved homicide was born in 1924 by the name of Constance Holminski.
So that announcement came today, but prosecutors gave 5 investigators Karen Anderson rare and exclusive access to this case for more than a year, and she saw firsthand how they got the answers that have eluded investigators for generations.
This is where the remains were recovered, down this embankment.
The gruesome discovery in 1989 in the small town of Warwick, Massachusetts. 3 decades later, the crime no closer to being solved. Then last year, investigators decided to try a new forensic tool to crack the case.
All these years, it's like there's this ghost that we're trying to bring back to life.
The plan to see if forensic genetic genealogy could match DNA from the woman's remains to even a distant relative in her family tree. That's how last year the same team identified the remains of a woman found murdered in Granby in 1978 as Patricia Ann Tucker. The process to identify the Warwick remains started around last August when the DA sent a piece of bone to Othram, a lab in Texas specializing in forensic genetic genealogy.
It comes forward and
we had our own inside look at the lab last year. Othram had a report on the Warwick case in November, and we were there when investigators talked through the results in a video call.
You have 3 names that say DNA matches, 1, 2, and 3.
Othram had found a distant cousin, a person whose DNA was in the same family tree as the Warwick remains.
We use those matches to trace back to a common ancestor.
Using public databases, the lab filled out the family tree as best they could and found a potential lead.
We did actually come across somebody that is unaccounted for. The person,
Constance Holminski, born in 1924, raised in Hawaii, lived in Franklin, Massachusetts, and in 1989 was living in an apartment in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. But she seemed to have disappeared. To know for sure if it was her, police would have to get a DNA sample from a close relative.
If she has a grandchild, this would allow us to determine if that is a person we're looking for.
After the call, there is new hope and work to do.
It's promising. It's nice to have a lot of leads.
A mixture now of a little bit of science with DNA and a little bit of police work.
In the months that followed, investigators found a DNA match to a daughter living in Washington State. They also tracked down other relatives.
When you told her family, what was their reaction?
It's very disturbing to hear that someone did this to her. But also I think it sort of cleared up that cloud of mystery that why would she just up and leave? She was a very loving and very involved person. In fact, one of her grandchildren reports that she would write letters to him almost daily or weekly. And that suddenly and abruptly stopped in 1989.
Investigators also uncovered a potential clue.
According to her husband at the time, William Bassignani, he claims that she had left, that she was returning to her roots on the West Coast or Hawaii, and that according to him, they wouldn't be seeing her again.
We know from newspaper records that William Bassignani was a Franklin native, an Army veteran, and union iron worker. When he died in 1993, his obituary said he was survived by his wife, Constance Holminski of California.
His claims that Constance had left for the West Coast certainly were ominous and misleading, so that would at least make him a strong person of interest.
Prosecutors admit it's a long shot to solve the crime, but at least now there's a measure of justice.
Even if we never identify who did this to Constance, at least she's not just human remains. She's a person, she has dignity, people loved her. So to whatever extent we can bring some measure of closure or justice to them, that's what motivates us.
Now, the prosecutor says the lab work costs about $10,000, and it's his hope that forensic genetic genealogy becomes widely used to solve both new and old cases. They're also asking anyone who knows anything about Constance or her husband, no matter how small it may seem, to call police. Their contact information is in this story on our website and mobile app.